What's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the King and Me show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
And we are coming at y'all this Monday, not live, but we here at 7 o'clock U.S. Eastern Standard Time, as we always do, with another live stream in which we share a real outlook on a healthy relationship. Real being relatable,
Entertaining,
accountable,
and loving.
So y'all, look, first of all, you look great today, babe.
Aw, thank you.
And I see that you got some workout gear going on. And it's funny because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Not working out specifically, but our health in general and how couples should look at assisting each other's goals so that the other person can put on them new workout shoes and walk out their life. Ain't that the point, right?
I cannot. What? No.
I thought that was the point.
That is not the point.
I thought that that's what people do when they lose weight and get in shape and increase.
Well, then never mind. I'm not gonna help you. No, we not doing this then because ain't no walking out. What? No.
Y'all, this is not scripted. We just do this impromptu. So she had no idea I was gonna say that, and I had no idea until right before I said it. So we normally start off with let's get deep. So let's pop into it. Let's get deep here, starting with the icebreaker question.
This is a funny question in light of the things that have been going on for the last week.
Okay.
Do you have any allergies?
I might be allergic to life. I don't know. Look, there's no filters on our cam right now, and your boy's whole face has just broken out. The last 2 times that I've gone to the beach, I've had some type of allergic reaction. The last time it was more of a rash, but this time, like, my whole face is broken out. Can't quite tell if it's beach, sun, sunscreen, or me taking TRT. So, yeah, I'm allergic to life.
I'm going to agree with the person who said something on your other stream. It's not TRT because this is the only time that has happened.
True.
So, yeah, no. And I disagree that it's sunscreen only because you put sunscreen on other parts of your body and no other part broke out like this. So, I don't know.
Okay.
And then as far as me, child, I'm allergic to the world.
Yes, you are.
I have seasonal allergies that are all year long. I'm allergic to some fruits. I'm allergic to some vegetables. I have a whole bunch of things. I have something called oral allergy syndrome. So because I'm allergic to certain trees, like eating certain fruits cause a reaction for me. Like I have a whole thing, whole gamut of stuff.
So do you have to walk out and like take something on the regular just to tackle the day?
I mean, I should, and I guess that's kind of why I've been struggling for a while because I haven't taken any allergy meds in a while. Like I've been living real reckless.
Okay.
And I've been living real Baltimore. Like, let me just put it out there. I've been living real Baltimore. Like, I'm living up to, like, where I'm from. And I'm just like, no, I eat elderberry every day. And I be taking these immune booster things. So I'm going to be all right. So I just ignore the allergies.
You should have jumped into the Baltimore River.
Look, I would have come out with superpowers and I probably wouldn't have allergies anymore.
Yes.
Look, so if you don't know, people jumped into the Baltimore in the harbor as a part of like this whole mayoral thingy or whatever that Mayor Brandon Scott was doing. And I am born and raised in Baltimore. Look, I understand that I may not say you and two like everybody else does, but I was born at the Johns Hopkins Hospital. I matriculated through Baltimore City Public Schools, Yorkwood Elementary.
Did you grow up saying Mo?
No, because I wasn't hood. Like, one thing that people don't understand is, number one, I can live in a place for 2 weeks and sound like I'm from there. Mm-hmm. So the moment I moved out of Baltimore, I didn't sound like I was from Baltimore anymore.
Word.
And then number two, I grew up with a Jamaican accent. So I worked really hard to get rid of the Jamaican accent and in turn didn't pick up any rural accent.
Why do I not get the Jamaican accent, Michelle? That would sound sexy.
Probably, but she cuss you out all the time.
I don't need that.
Exactly.
I just need that.
No.
Okay.
But no, so I don't sound like I'm from there, but I am born and reared in Baltimore, Maryland.
All right.
I should have jumped in that harbor. I should have jumped in it.
What's our deep question?
Deep. What picture of me do you show your friends who have never met me? Ow! I want to know. What picture of me do you show your friends who have never met me?
I don't have one particular photo or a go-to photo. It's easy for me to do it because you're on my phone as my screensaver. So if somebody's never met you, I just show that picture because it's a picture that I already like, but I change it not as often as you do,
Yeah.
but I change mine every so often. So it's whatever picture is on my screensaver on my phone at the moment.
All right, so same Z's. On my iPhone, I have you as my screensaver, but then on Facebook, I'm at this new habit where every month I put up a new photo of us as my profile picture, and I let you choose the photo, and whatever photo that is, it's like King likes it, so whatever, it's fine. But he is also on my iPhone screensaver,
Hold
so
on, let me do that.
okay.
I can't get it. There it is.
Oh, where is it? Ow! That's us. That's me and my hands. Yeah.
I like that photo of us, by the way.
It is so cute. It is so cute. And then it just like, it looks so good right there.
Mm-hmm.
He handsome.
Ooh, thank you, baby.
All right.
Last question is the deeper.
If you were guaranteed honest responses to any 3 questions, who and what would you ask?
Oh man, who and what would I ask? Can you start this one off?
All right, so
Let's trade.
okay.
Because it was 3.
The first person I would ask is I would ask Trump to honestly, and I would hook him up to like a microphone or something like that so that it could be amplified all over the world at the same time. But I would want him to truthfully say how he feels about Black Americans and about, you know what, excuse me, about non-white Americans. And I would ask that question because his actions indicate one thing, and then he gets up there and he's talks so smoothly that some people are just completely blindsided and blindfolded by everything that he says. So I want that truthful answer out there immediately. You want to go like one by one, or you want me to do all 3 of mine at one time?
Let's do one by one.
Right.
So my first person that I would ask would be, oh man, I would want to know for sure with a current sitting president if Area 47 really exists and like what's in it.
I should have known that you were going to head down that path.
So
I should have known.
like, so it's whoever the current sitting president is, which right now it's President Biden. But the way his memory works, maybe he shouldn't be the one that I asked.
Maybe he shouldn't be.
But yeah, like I'd like to know like what really is at Area 47.
Okay. I would be honest. I don't know who else I would ask or why, because some questions I don't necessarily think we can handle the answers. And that's the level of truth that some people don't realize. Like, I'm an inquisitive person. Why is my favorite question? But there's some questions that I don't ask because I'm not sure. I want to know the answer. And or if I get the answer, will that help me heal? Like, how will that help me on my healing journey? So it's not just so much what does that answer do for me or anything, because I'm not a pop-off person. I'm not about to show up and do anything crazy. But some questions, it's just like, if I get the answer, is that going to help me heal? Is getting this answer going to help me heal? So a question that I had, but I wouldn't actually ask this, is I would ask my last ex if he cheated on me. But so that's the question I would ask. I know I would get the honest answer, but the reality for me is, would that help me heal? Would that help me in this point of like, do I need that for healing? And the answer is no, so I wouldn't ask that question.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. Okay.
So that's question number 2.
Here's my question number 2. Dad, why is your name not on my birth certificate? All right. Who's your third?
Talk about things I wasn't expecting you to say. Okay. Since we're going down that path, again, a question that won't help me heal, but hey, sure, why not? Actually, no. this could actually help me heal. Mom, why didn't you get remarried? Why did you stop dating? Actually, that's a better question. Why did you stop
Your
dating?
mom stopped dating completely?
Yeah, my mom hasn't dated since, I don't know, it's probably been like 20 years.
In the context of the question, this is a hypothetical.
Mhm.
Do you think she's like, you know what? I'm just good? Because there's taking yourself off the market versus doing life alone. Is she doing life alone?
I know what you mean.
Because and the reason why is I want to give a little bit of clarity. Like I took myself off the market as far as dating, but I still had company from time to time.
No, she's living life alone. 100%. So I would legitimately, I want to know why. Yeah.
Okay, if you're somebody out there that is making a choice to do life alone, we would love to have a conversation with you, right? Because people talk about that in a very negative way. I personally don't view it as a negative thing. I don't believe you view it. No, I don't want to put words into your mouth because I've heard some people say we're not meant to do life alone. And I think you've
You're
been one of the
not.
people that have said you're not meant to
The
do life
Bible
alone.
says that you're not supposed to. The Bible, when God made this earth, y'all, Genesis 1 and 2. When God made this earth, he said that every single thing was good. But when he saw Adam by himself, he said, this ain't good. Okay, maybe he didn't say ain't, but he said this ain't good. And he made from Adam, for Adam, someone who would be his companion. Because he saw all of the animals and he was like, no, none of these are compatible for him. I'm gonna give him a helpmate, an Azar, someone who is like him, to be with him forever.
I've got a problem with that, but this is not the episode for it. So we'll just continue. My last thing is, and I've done a version of this before, but I'd ask my daughter to rate me as a father, give me her honest feedback, brutal truths, anything that she might not have mentioned to me before. I think, in my opinion, she has not held anything back, but in this scenario that we've asked because of the question, to know that somebody would be brutally honest would give like a little bit more peace of mind. So I don't think about that now, but I would re-ask that to her. Because being a good father has always been important to me.
If you don't mind me asking, I have a two-part question for that.
Okay.
Number one, when was the last time you asked her? And then number two, if you wouldn't mind sharing, what's something she said?
The last time that I asked her was around New Year's after we got back from our trip.
Okay.
And I don't recall exactly what she said. In general, it was favorable. She said basically continue doing what you're doing now, which I'll do those check-ins from time to time. Maybe twice a month, with no electronics, no distractions. Hey, how have you been? How am I doing? Is there anything that I could do better? So I'd say, I know I do it at least once a month because I have it in my phone to do it once a month. But sometimes it's twice a month.
Okay.
And that gives her the opportunity. And again, like I said, in my opinion, I don't think she's kept anything back out of fear of how it might sound or look or anything. Wow, that was interesting.
That was a good question. Like, I'm
interesting.
not gonna say that the deeper questions are always deep. Like, some of them are very, very shallow. But that was actually a really, really good question.
Okay, all right. So,
okay, back of the deck coming through.
Getting into today's episode, we decided that it was important to talk about building your health as a couple, working on your health as a couple. And there's a couple of things
on my fitness
that has occurred between both of us as we're getting older that's important. And I'm going to share something that you said that you got very emotional about. And I'd like to understand your why. For you, you said that it's important for me, and us to work on our health because you want to grow old together. You have a desire to grow old and do life together. And you said that, and I was surprised because you were very emotional when you said it. Now, why is that a very important thing for you?
Okay, so pause. Some things you got to give us just a little bit of warning about, just a little bit.
Oh, my bad, babe.
Okay. You have a heart condition.
Mm-hmm.
I have never dated anyone um, with a heart condition or with any type of condition that statistically has, and I'm just going to put it as plainly as possible, statistically has ended lives. Like, men do typically suffer, men do typically pass on from heart attacks. Like, heart attacks are known as the widowmaker for a reason.
Yes.
So to be with someone who already has heart condition and has a heart condition, and then various things have happened over the course of our relationship where it's just like, I want to spend my life with you, and it I guess in dating previous guys, it's never been a possibility that I may not spend. Like,
you just assume that, hey, they're healthy, I'm healthy.
We good.
We good.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And in this case, respectfully, you're as healthy as you can be for someone with a heart condition, with that particular heart condition. And that's scary as hell. Like, I'm just going to say it. That is scary as hell.
Do you recall how early it was that I shared that with you? And I'm asking this question because I went into it early saying, hey, I'm going to just put this all out here. This is how I am. This is what's going on. I need for you to understand what all that means. Do you remember how early it was that I shared it with you?
I think you and I both did the same thing. We told each other everything back when we were friends. So you knew about what happened to me as a child when we were still friends, and I knew about your heart condition when we were still friends. So I knew about that before we started dating.
Could that have been something that you made a decision to go, you know what? No, I can't do this because this food could drop tomorrow.
I'm going to be honest. Had Ellie told me that when she was hyping you up, like preparing us for the initial meet, it could have been a factor. The issue is when I met you, it was all over. Like,
well,
it wouldn't. Once I met you, like, it didn't matter.
With what I know about you now, I'm gonna tell you how I view it. Is if you would have known about it before you met me, I think you would have scared yourself off.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I probably wouldn't have shown up.
Yep.
Like, if she had said, "Oh, Michelle, he's this great guy. Like, you'll like him." There is just one thing I want to say. He has a heart condition, and because of the heart condition, he had to like retire out. I'd been like, well, Ellie, he sounds like a nice person, but right now, I'm not trying to date anyone. I probably would have, but thank God she didn't say that. But when you and I met, it didn't matter. Like, the moment that I met you, someone could have told me that right there at the table, and I still wouldn't have cared anymore.
Okay.
But had she told me before I laid eyes on you?
Yes, because you perseverate. That's a word that I learned from you. And I think you would have went through all of those scenarios in your head, and you would have made the decision to go, hey, I've heard about this guy. You did hype him up, but I'm just not in a place right now. And it would have been more you being scared of that possibility without really knowing everything beforehand. Because, yeah, you're right. I'm in the best health that I can be. I can improve on some things. But for what I have, I don't have a cardiac condition that's an immediate life threatening thing.
Yeah, it's a deterioration over time type thing, and
And it's something that if you
whew,
know about it, you manage it, right? You don't do things like what I was doing. I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. I don't mind sharing it. I got diagnosed when I was active duty in the military. It caused me to get medically retired from service. I was playing full contact football. I was interested in rugby. And when you hear about athletes specifically who just drop and it looked like they're in peak physical condition with nothing else, they likely had some form of cardiac disease that, depending on what level of sports that you're playing at, you don't get that kind of a EKG checkout cardiovascular picture to know unless you're somebody that's competing at a professional level. That's when things get typically found out. And the reason why it's in athletes more than the average person is the average person can live a life where they're not worried about getting hit or something that can cause a cardiac issue to occur in somebody that has certain cardiac diseases. So other people can have it their entire lives, not know anything about it, and it's not unless like an autopsy is done for something else that it's then occurred. Oh, this person had, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Some people can live with it and never know that they have it. So for me, it was a good thing that it was found out while I was active duty. And post marriage, it wasn't anything that I looked at or viewed as something that I was going to let rule my life. But it was important that for somebody that I was going to be serious with, because I shared it with people that I dated before you and I met, but not to the extent of you need to know everything. It's, hey, just heads up, I have heart disease, right? Just like that. Because it's not something that I'm ashamed of. It's not anything that I wanted to hide. Mm-hmm. It was just important that you knew.
Right, right.
And but with you, when I was even kind of early on, when I was like, I don't know about her and us being together like that.
But we were friends.
But we were friends. Yeah. And let me tell you, early on too, it was nice to have somebody to bounce things off of, right? And you're a level-headed person. You're not crazy.
Why you pause?
I wanted to see if your eye twitched when I said it. So, so it was nice to be able to just bounce things off of. Early on too with you, I didn't hide things or I didn't feel ashamed of things. And I'm not going to say it was a testing thing. However, I'm going to put this out there that if you can share something with somebody and they don't throw it back in your face later on, it's a beautiful thing. I was afraid of that for a long time because you hear men talk about them being open with somebody, and then the moment that something happens, something occurs, that same thing that they were vulnerable with or open with them gets turned back and thrown in their face in an argument. And I had experienced that before. And for me, I told myself I will never allow myself to have something thrown back in my face from sharing a vulnerability ever again. I have said that, and I can admit saying that one.
You admit to everything except for the one thing.
Yep, so no. So guys out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. It was nice to be able to share stuff with you. And I'm going to say this, had it happened or had it occurred, that was a deal breaker for me. That's something that if Michelle would have, for some reason, lost her temper and thrown something that I was vulnerable with back in my face, reflexively or intentional, there is no grace for that with me. It's, I'm done. That was the tryout period. Tryout period's over with. I'm going to free agently walk myself off this team.
So, I think just looking at it, your heart condition has always been a scary thing for me. right?
No doubt.
And then we saw the movie A Man Called Otto, and whatever, that movie's been out for a long time. It was an excellent movie. It's been out for over a year, so if you haven't seen it, that's on you. But in that movie, Tom Hanks played a character who had the very specific heart condition that you have. So
And we didn't know that going
we didn't
into
know. Like,
prior.
no, it didn't say that because that obviously like wasn't in any of the information about it. So I go in there, I hear him say it, and I'm like, oh no, that's what King has. And the movie, the movie happens. I'm not going to tell you everything that happens in the movie, but I remember being like so heartbroken. I'm like, I've never seen a movie where this heart condition is talked about, and now I'm with a man who has a heart condition, and here's a movie that has this heart condition in there, and it just your heart condition is scary. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that, right?
Okay.
And earlier this year, when you had COVID and you had to stay overnight in the hospital because you went into VSAC, like that was scary. Like it's all very scary, and it's scarier because it's like there is no one else that I want to spend my life with. Like no other earthly person that I want to spend my life with. So me being me, I'm trying to control every situation that I can control. And I'm like, all right, well, Bet King, that just means we got to work out. That just means we have to keep you as healthy as you can possibly be with this heart condition.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I can respect that. And because I know you, I know it's coming from a good place. Because when I say that this woman cares, yet she will really perseverate, I'm going to tell you, I sometimes go, I know there's a reason why you're doing this. I don't know why, but it is going to come out in time. So I've done better about trying to ask questions. And I know for you, it's because you care. And I even made the joke and I said, like, it's a little bit self-serving, but it should be. It should be. And ain't nothing wrong with that in this instance for your why. So you've talked about wanting to ensure that, okay, I need this man to not make dumb decisions.
I don't think it like okay.
I need this man to really think about the things because look, Michelle isn't controlling what I eat. She has asked questions about, have you talked to a nutritionist?
So then
What did the nutritionist say? Which I have talked to a nutritionist and I shared what the nutritionist started with because it's like an ongoing thing. We share each other's records.
Oh, did you see I was able to update? I figured out how to use iPhone, y'all. So I have an iPhone and an Android, and I've always been team Android, so I'm struggling to learn iPhone. But I put it in, so I was able to link my medical records
Nice.
from the hospital.
Good
so
deal.
like I have all of that in there, and it has like all the things.
Good. I'll check my phone after we're done here and see if I can access it.
Okay.
And that's a level of trust for somebody that we've been together a year and a half. And contrary to what some people might think, is we're not married. But being able to share that kind of stuff, I know it can be scary. As things are happening, one of the thoughts that I have is, how's Michelle going to take this? Right? Because I know some stuff, it hits you, there's that initial level of, and then you have to take time to process it. And then you're going to do what you're going to do. But it's not bad.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, let me interject.
Please, go ahead.
When he says he's afraid to tell me, it's not because he thinks I'm going to get upset or anything like that. He knows that it'll make me sad and that I will sit on that thought forever. And anxiety will kick in and I'll go to the worst case scenario with it. And I'll be sad and I'll be scared and that type of stuff. It's not that I'll do anything radically. He just thinks I'll be like sad and I won't be able to like emotionally handle it. Not to say that that's better, but kind of is.
Let me ask you a straight up question, because to me, I feel, and I don't like I feel statements.
But they're the best.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
I feel as though when I'm telling you information, I'm trying to just not sugarcoat it, give it to you as raw as I can, the way that I know how to say it. Is that okay with you?
That's how I need it.
Okay.
So, especially when it comes to health related things, don't sugarcoat it, because sugarcoating gives me optimism and I'm already going to go to worst case scenario. So, it's like if you sugarcoat something, that means you're coming in at probably like a 8 or a 9 on a scale from 1 to 10. So, my mind is only going to kick it back to probably like a 6 or a 7, when in reality, it probably was a 4 and I needed to be like lower down the scale. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't need you to sugarcoat anything. I need you to give it to me raw so that I can go to a lower worst case scenario and then be pleasantly surprised when it turns out to be better.
Gotcha. All right. So we're going to make a little bit of a pivot here. And I think that everything that we've talked about up to this part and what we're going to talk about going forward is going to be raw, it's going to be real, and it's our hope that we can help somebody by having this conversation very openly and very raw. So I'm going to start. You don't have to follow exactly what I do.
Raw, real, and prayerfully relatable.
Relatable. Bam. Triple R. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. I like it.
We were on the same page with that. So I am currently close to the heaviest that I have been in my lifetime. Okay. Stepping on the scale, the weight on the scale was 291 or 292. It was one of those.
It was 291 on Monday.
291. I'm lower than that now, but 291 is the highest that I have ever been in my lifetime. And I can tell y'all, I've never in my mind thought I would ever see close to 300 in my lifetime. So that was a little bit of it was a wake up call, right? Because I just turned 40. And besides what I see in the mirror, I still feel like that dude that can go out and possibly try and grab the rim on a basketball goal, turn a backflip, go catch passes for touchdowns. I still feel as though I can do that.
I'm going to just need you to not, though, because of the heart situation.
But I know that that's not the case. I was walking up a flight of stairs not too long ago and got tired. And part of that is it because of my heart condition? Is it because of the extra weight that I have? So with going forward, what I want to say very publicly to you and here, yes, I am going to be taking this serious. So much so that a lot of other things are going to be secondary, because I need to get good habits, and we're going to talk about creating a SMART goal here. Mm-hmm. But I have to be somebody that creates a good habit and get in that good habit so that good habit is a more permanent thing for me, okay? But I'm going to say this. Stepping on that scale and seeing 291 was like, wait, what? So I didn't feel good about it. I just don't sit in those type of thoughts for a while. So if you were to ask me later on in the day, tell me about your day or whatever, I'm going to be like, it was good. That short moment of, ooh, I stepped on the scale and saw 291 and didn't like it, I don't perseverate on that, or I'm not going to sit in that often, because that doesn't do anything for me. I more try to focus on the positive things, or just the way that my brain goes is, I'm alive and here on this earth, so I'm not going to really complain or be down about something. Like, life's worth living. So I just don't focus on it. But seeing that 291 was like, okay. And my goal, and I'm going to just say this as very straight up as I can, babe. It ain't to be healthy for you.
As you shouldn't. Like I talked about that last week. You can't do something for someone else. You have to do it for you.
Exactly.
No, I don't want you to make any changes for me. I want you to make them for you, because that's the only way that they're going to last.
Mm-hmm. Now, often in relationships, you hear of one person changing in the relationship and it being a problem for the other person. So I'm gonna ask you a straight up question. What concerns would you have had I got to, let's say, 3:30 for no other reason other than I wasn't optimizing my lifestyle? Would that have bothered you?
So I'm gonna answer that question, but in order to answer, I'm gonna tell a story. I've been watching a lot of episodes of My 600 Pound Life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one common factor that I noticed after you process that a lot of the people in those relations in those show on that show, they didn't buy their own food, right? Someone was assisting them, whether it was a parent, whether it was a child, some other family relative, or it was a partner, like a domestic partner, a spouse, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Someone was aiding them in that. So, God forbid you had gotten up to that weight, it would have been my fault because I didn't say anything to you. I didn't stop you. Like, I know you have a heart condition and I haven't done anything to help you. So, and I would have, like, respectfully, I would have turned this on me. I would have been like, okay, Michelle, why didn't you make healthier meals for him? You have more flexibility in your schedule than he does. Why don't you cook and make him healthier meals so that he doesn't have to order out? Why didn't you do the grocery shopping? Like, y'all have Instacart, a shared Instacart. Why didn't you order healthier things and have them delivered to your house, to his house? Like, it would have fallen on me and I would have borne that responsibility because I could have made better choices that would have positively impacted you.
And if I ignored them?
If you ignore them, then it's it's different. Like, it's a hard thing to say. Like, I know some people would say, if I'm trying to do all these things for you to live healthily and you're not doing it, then I'm just going to walk away because it's a waste of my energy. But then I throw it on the grounds of respect. I'm trying to respect you enough to fight for your health. But if you don't respect yourself enough to fight for your health, then how can I know that you're going to respect me as a person to be in your life? So I could see that realm of it too. Does that make sense?
It does. And your answer to that, if the question were flipped to me, is I walk away. Because if I'm doing the things to try to help you and you ignore it, just like you said, you're not respecting yourself. So there is going to be a point where respect is not shown to me.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
And if that gets introduced, it's hard to walk back from that.
Yeah.
So you and I are doing this thing. We've decided to make that a central focus as well. It's one of the pillars of a healthy relationship. But I don't think it's one that people really focus on a lot, right? You need money to pay bills, have a roof over your head, things like that. So people focus on the income aspect. You need physical time together in whatever way that looks for you, because not every couple's handsy and public displays of affection and all this and that, but yet they're happy in their relationship together because it's what works for them. But that health thing, right? There's a lot that can sit in that because it's not just about any underlying conditions that you might have or whatnot. There's some mental things that kind of come along with it as well. And I'm going to say that there's a lot that when you talk about how you feel about certain things, I know that you care, but it does kind of make me, it puts it into the forefront of my thoughts, because I also don't want you to be sad about it. Because I'm like, that it's not, how do I say this? It's not going to affect me that you're sad. But I don't want to be around sad energy either, right? Because I'm going to be like, hey, I've already got this. I've processed it. I'm still choosing to live my life. I can't tell you how to process it, so you do whatever you need to do. Just try to get over that sadness as quick as you can.
But so the one thing that we're, like the elephant in the room is that as Black people, we are already predisposed to many conditions that take our lives, right? High blood pressure, also known as hypertension, diabetes in the Black community known as the sugar. Like we are predisposed to these things. They run in our families, and we stand a better possibility of getting them. And then there are other mitigating factors that play into race that cause for the shortening of our lifespan in general. So it's like, why feed into that? There are things that we can do to make a positive impact on our lives and to change us. So why can't we just like fight for that, right? Like why can't we just do that? So that's where I am with most things. Like I want us to be healthy for ourselves, like for our individual selves, so that we make a better cohesive unit that's able to do things and to be more inspiring. Like we want to continue to do this content, right? Like we want to continue to travel and see the world. It's harder when you can't, respectfully, when you can't walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded, or um it's more expensive and costly to travel all over the world if you were at a size that requires you to buy two airplane tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't me trying to be rude. This is just me being very honest and looking at things from a cost perspective. We're trying to do many things. Getting our health in order helps that. It helps us to be able to achieve other goals that we want to have in life.
Now, what are some things that you've thought about your health that has caused you to have a little bit of a concern, if any? You might not have anything.
So I have always, because of what happened to me as a child, I have always gravitated towards food. Like I've always used food as a comfort. I am, by definition, an emotional eater. Doesn't matter what emotion I'm feeling, I will find a reason to eat, right? So I battled obesity for a really, really long time. In 2011, that was the first time I actually started putting my health first, and I lost weight. It wasn't unaided. Like I used a weight loss pill to help me lose weight, and I lost a lot of weight. And then I went through really bad depression in 2015, 2016, and I was on the antidepressant, and between the depression and the antidepressant, I put on all the weight that I had lost plus 2 pounds. So I got to my then heaviest weight, which I don't mind saying what my heaviest weight was. It was 314.2.
Okay.
I got to that weight, and that was the depression. Like that was everything kicking in, getting me to that point. And then I was in a relationship at the time. He and I broke up, and probably about a month and a half later, I I had after I had already had a endoscopy because I was having some gastro issues. So endoscopies camera
Okay.
going down.
Yes.
I had an endoscopy because I was having some gastro issues. And when I had the endoscopy, the doctor was like, you should do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And a couple of weeks later, I took everything that he said into consideration. I had a good vegan meal, and I was like, you know what? I can do this vegan thing. So, November of 2016, I went vegan. And I think the initial shock to my body of going vegan, the weight just started to come off, and I ended up getting down to my lowest ever weight of 164.
And was that just dieting? Did you do any exercising with that as
So
well?
I'm gonna be honest, I hate exercising. Like I really hate exercising. So that was initially just me dieting. Just the way that I changed my eating. So it was me going vegan, number one. Number two, consider 2016 veganism is not 2024 veganism. We ain't had that many options. So it really was a lot of like fruits and vegetables and
Okay.
stuff like that. Like all the fast food stuff and everything, like it wasn't all there. Were there still accidentally vegan items like Oreos? Traditional Oreos are vegan. Most chips are vegan. Were there still those things? Yes. But we didn't have all the junk that we do now.
So there's a common thing too, and you don't have to answer it if it's too personal or whatnot. But were you drinking alcohol at the time?
No, so I had my last drink of alcohol in February 2017. So there was also that. So I am also sober. So I'm vegan and I'm sober. So there's that. So no, I wasn't drinking alcohol. And because of my gastro issues, I'm not supposed to have soda. Now, do I love iced tea? Yes. Do I? Well, I'm not supposed to have iced tea that much either because it has caffeine, which also isn't good for my gastro issues. So I try not to have that a lot. And I like lemonade, but I also can't have too much of that because of my acid reflux and the acidity that's in the lemon. So technically, I do drink a lot of water. Like I tend to gear more towards water anyway. So there was all of that. So it was like 80% diet. And I look back over the course of my life, the two big times that I lost large amounts of weight simply just because I changed my eating habits.
Okay.
It was not exercise. Did I start exercising? Yes. I started exercising in 2018. So I went vegan November 2016. 2017, I didn't work out. Like I was going through a bout of unemployment and stuff like that. I was not working out. I did not have a gym membership. 2018, I started getting back into the gym because I wanted to compete in a 5K. It was a 5K that was coming up in April of 2019, and I wanted to compete in it. So I distinctly remember in 2018, I also gave up starch. So I wasn't eating rice, I wasn't eating pasta, I wasn't eating bread of any kind. I didn't have chips, I didn't have cake. I think I may have had like a slice of cake around my birthday. I didn't have any of those things. I didn't have ice cream, and that's how I got down to my lowest weight of 164. I went a whole year of none of that, which sounds very familiar. Like I think part of the reason why you did that is because you know your friend Jay, Way of Jay Fitness, who he goes through bouts where he is on a completely fruit diet. And I think he is in the midst of a year where he's on another fruit diet only. And it's just amazing what it does to your body. So that's how I was able to get down to 164 because on top of me being vegan, I went a whole year of no starches. And as my own PCP has told me, your body doesn't really need those starches. And I have to say starches because I can't say carbs. Like I'm still vegan, so there are fruits that I would eat that aren't considered keto friendly, but they're fruits, so I would still eat them. So I wasn't completely keto, but I was staying away from starches as best as possible. All of that was true until about May 10th, 2019. I passed out. I had a syncope for some other reason, like I had a fever. I fainted. I went to the ER, found out I had gallstones, and after that, I lost my will to work out, and I just kind of started reverting back to old ways. And as I said, that was 2019. We all know what happened in 2020, and since then, I have gained the most stubborn 60 pounds that I am trying to lose again now.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Now, you and I have recently just kind of kicked things back up. How's it going for you?
So, at the time of this recording, so we're recording, obviously prior to the show, I I worked out every day last week. Let's just say it that way. I worked out every day last week. And there were days where, specifically Friday, when it was pouring down rain, that I did not feel like working out. Like, I'm going to be very honest. I didn't feel like working out. So I went to the gym. I intentionally got up, put on workout clothes, went to the gym, and I walked on the treadmill because that was the most that I wanted to do. Like a combination of, my friend being here this month and the rain and just overall not wanting to go. I said, me getting up, going, and walking on the treadmill is better than me sitting at home and doing nothing.
And we team no excuses over here.
Yeah.
And you know how I get.
Yes, and so like that's the thing. Like I love the way that you push me and the way that you're like, okay, so no excuses, and that's what I try to give back to you. Except
and I appreciate it.
thing. Except it's different because I think you see my excuses better than I see my excuses, and I think I see your excuses better than you see your
Oh
excuses.
yeah, I think most people don't really see because you would try to justify your own things any way you
Man, I
can.
got a justification up my sleeve for everything. But no, like there's so many things that like I see a choice, and I'm saying this, with all love and respect because we're at the point where we're trying to heal and help each other. There are things that I see you do that I'm just like, there's a better way to do that. There's a more efficient way to do that. There is, hey, oops. Hope I didn't break my phone. No, it's good. There's a better way to do all that, and I would love to help you see that better way to do it.
Oh yeah, I know I don't do things efficiently. I can admit that.
Efficiently, and then
Not all the time.
not all
Not
the
all
time.
the time.
No, I wouldn't.
Sometimes yes,
I wouldn't say that.
but not all the time.
So like that's one thing that we try to challenge each other with to make sure that we are doing things the most efficient way possible, and that's something I'm appreciative of our relationship.
Now, before we get into the SMART goal here, and are we going to build one on air, or are we
Yes,
just going to talk?
that's why I wanted
we're going
to
to build one. All
we're
right.
going to build one on air.
So before we get there, I do want to go back on something that you talked about, and I just want to get your thoughts on it
What's that?
because I think it's more relevant to the ladies than it is to the guys. You said at your heaviest you were three something, three and some change.
314.2.
314.2. What was the attention like at 314 versus 160?
Oh, that is such a good question. So there's this thing called body dysmorphia, right? That when your body changes, you don't really notice it. Other people may notice it before, and I could be given completely the wrong definition of it. But what I'm going to say for me is that I have had two experiences in my life where I was over 300 pounds, and two times in my life where I lost like almost half of my body weight, right? And got down to a small size. And it affects you mentally more than anything else.
How?
So I was never without attention, right? Because part of it is you hear 314 and you're like, oh my gosh, like you must be disgusting. I'm 5'9". I have never looked my weight, right? Even at my heaviest, which was 314, I looked overweight, obviously, but I didn't look like I weighed 314. Like you could tell I weighed a lot, but not that. My weight goes to my chest before it goes anywhere else, and then once it's finished with my chest, it goes like straight to my thighs. Stomach gets a little bit of love, but the way that I dressed and the way that I carried myself, I still got attention. I still turned heads in a positive way.
Okay.
However, when I lost the weight, something that you've most likely noticed about me, I have always preferred clothes that fit me a little bit more snugly. I have never been like a moo in public type person. I have always been more form fitting, always A-line things, and if nothing else, we fit into accentuate the boobies. God bless me with them. We fit in to show them off, always. So as the weight started to fall from everywhere else on my body, and my boobs pretty much still remained the same, and I should be talking like an adult. My breast still remained
boobies.
still remained a large portion of me. The attention was different. Like more men were approaching me. And it impacts you because on the one hand, it's like your mind first thinks, so was I ugly before? Like different types of men are approaching me now. Was I ugly before? Um, and it just makes you sit and think, and you're like, well, how long was I ugly? Like, how long was I unattractive? And okay, well, now I'm not unattractive. Now, let me just go out here and be fast and careless and reckless with how I look and how I behave because now people are paying attention to me. Like no one was paying attention to me before, but now they are. So I'm gonna relish this. I'm going to sit and I'm going to love it. I'm going to do all the stupid things. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go to all the bars and do all the things because I've lost weight and now people are paying attention to me. So you heard me say I lost weight twice. That first time that I lost weight, I was at a bar every weekend, every single weekend, because that was still, when I was drinking. Because we're talking about 2011.
And
So
around how old were you in 2011?
25.
So mid 20s. All right.
Yes. So I was 25 and I was losing all that weight. And, my dresses fit just like so. And the boobs popped out of everything that I wore. And even at 5'9", I would throw on some heels and stop. See? I would throw on some heels. So like I was still thick because I've never been real skinny. Like I was still thick. And then I would go to bars and, meet guys. And I'm not saying I did anything reckless because that's not me as a person. But for some, it can lead to reckless behavior. Like, let me rephrase. I didn't do anything sexually reckless. Did I do reckless things like drink and then get behind the wheel of a car? Yeah. Like, there were some dumb things like that I did. But sexually, I was not a reckless person. Um, I did things I shouldn't have done, and only the grace of God, I'm able to be here now. And I don't say this as like a badge of honor or anything like that, but one, thank you, Lord, for turning my life around. And two, it's something I would never ever recommend to anyone, and I would never ever do again because it was stupid. Like it was a dumb period of my life that was driven by alcohol and this attention that I'm getting from men that I'd never had before.
I won't put this person's business out there, but what you just said made me think about a conversation. And to this person, I know you watch our stuff sometimes. If you ever want to come and talk about it, because I think it's a really important thing, let me know. Hit me up. You have my number. This person talked about how she was a bigger gal, and she lost the weight, and how she started seeing more attention because as she lost weight, her breast stayed, but everything else slimmed down.
Yeah.
And she was she's like 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but when you got 5'5" and you sitting with D's and you're like 120,
Yeah.
they look large compared to guys' visual, whatever. But she talked about how with her, she was sexually reckless because of the sexual attention that she got from men. And the way that she explained it was so clear. It was actually so dope. She said that she could tell the way that men would look at her and talk to her, and to get the attention that she had when she didn't have that kind of attention before. She said it was like, it was intoxicating. It was powering. I wanted more of it. And she's not shy about saying that to her. I think she's married now. My bad. I don't know what your status is. You'll never talk about your husband. But she is married now. And she said that one of the things that she wanted to, that was important to her, is she didn't want to hide that part of her life. But she said for a year she was sexually reckless. And that's as much as I'm going to say. And if she wants to talk about it more, we'd love to have you on.
And see, for me, I drink a lot and I did a lot of stuff, but I have always been, I guess the term would be serial monogamous. That's what I mean when I say like I was never sexually reckless, because I would only do things in a relationship. And like give me the title, like not just the actions. I needed the title to be able to do that stuff. So
You don't want to just be my lady for tonight?
no, that ain't me. That ain't me. This ain't no pretty woman type situation. I'm a lifelong. So in 2011, even when like I started losing all that weight, I was talking to one person. Like there was one person. And then when that person was cheating on me, 2012, there was a different one person, and like he and I were together for a while. So it was always one continuous person, and it was me still like getting dressed up, uh, whatever, because he liked the attention that other men were giving me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess that's something that you all like. Like,
It's a
it's
thing.
a thing
Yeah.
for a guy to like the attention that his woman gets. It's a
And
turn on.
yeah, it's a turn on. And I mean, it's vice versa. And I think subconsciously people want to know that you are attractive to other people. It's a thing. Not everybody's wired that way.
I'm not.
Not everybody's wired. Well, I think you're not out of jealousy, meaning you can't be because you might actually stab somebody.
First of all, I like my job. So no, I wouldn't physically harm anyone.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not built like that. Like it doesn't if you walk into a room and like all eyes are on you, that doesn't like boost me up or make me feel any better. Like, yeah, that's my man type thing. No,
No.
like I know you're attractive. You are very attractive to me, and that's what matters because I'm the one in a relationship with you, not everybody else.
All
So
right.
that doesn't impact me. But I recognize that men do like that. Like you walk into a room with a woman on your arm and like everyone's looking at her. Some men do, they appreciate that. And the types of guys that I was dating back then, like it mattered to them. So I made sure that, my legs stayed shaved and the boobs were always nice. And I always had on the tightest little dress and, sit at the bar and like get attention. Like that was what I did back then when I had lost all that weight. So the attention is different. Like it hits very differently. Even if you are at a heavier weight, and there are some men who love them a larger woman. Even then, the attention was different. Like I was never without attention, but the attention was very much different when I lost the weight.
There was one thing, and then we're gonna get to the smart thing. There's always one thing. Here's the
Always
one thing.
one thing. Always.
But I have personally, I've never been attracted to a certain type. I can say that certain types stand out more to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never been attracted to a certain type more or less. There is a certain definition of sloppy on both sides of the spectrum that is unattractive to me. Like extremely real thin to me is not attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely obese to me, I'm not attracted to. But it's interesting to know that everybody has a type, right? And we talked about here between you and somebody that you're in a relationship with, it's important to understand um, what that other person goals is because we think for a healthy relationship to work, it's not just about your self drive and independence, but it's how can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to help you. I love you enough to want to help you. And B, how am I going to make sure I do things to where I'm not a hindrance?
Mm-hmm.
And that's important as well. Because sometimes we may do stuff that is a hindrance and we don't know it. For example, I think we could talk about this publicly. Tap me if we can't. Okay? You asked me one time about not bringing a certain substance into the house.
Oh.
And I gave you pushback on that because I'm like, I hear what you're asking, but I'm not going to do that because I don't think you're asking me to do that to keep you from. I think you're doing it out of something that scared you. But in my opinion, it wasn't something that I felt like you would ever have an issue on. So I was like, I'm not doing no. And we had a conversation about that or whatnot. But that's different from like if you say, hey, I'm doing a fast of sweets for a month and it would really help me if we didn't bring any cake home. All right, cool. I don't want to be a hindrance to where you might open up that refrigerator and go, it's been 14 days. I need sugar.
Give me sugar.
Now I'm the great Corleone. So to just know what those goals are to make sure that I'm not a hindrance is important, and it should be important for people that say that they love and support and respect each other.
I agree. Like I think the greatest thing, and we see it so often. Like when you see a lot of people make changes. Like there's a whole trend right now online of people working out, the whole fitness thing. It's all the rage. Like number one, why is it all the rage? Because we have been living an obese life, and like
Oh
we
yeah,
all,
yeah.
we all slacked. Blame COVID if you want to, whatever. But we all slacked off, which is why it's such a big thing now.
And specifically Americans. I'm gonna say this: when
Yeah.
you look at other nationalities, right? They're in that healthier BMI range than Americans are, and I'm specific when I talk about BMI because when you look at Americans, Americans big and everything, but it's not just like that, but like muscle too. Like most Americans, you see, they're bigger in size
Then
than other cultures or other nationalities. And I find it interesting. I find it interesting. And I think that there should be a shift that occurs when you're here that comes with you as adults. I have a cousin, Mike Richardson. I'm going to say his name very publicly. I have a cousin who was a ex pro football player. That's why I'm saying his name because this is a positive story. Mike, when we were teenagers, would always drink water. He always cared about his fitness and things like that. And I was reckless in my eating in my teenage years, but I was also younger. I was also more active lifting weights and things than what I am now. But now, Mike, as an adult, does he enjoy an adult beverage or two? Yes. I don't think Mike's ever been wasted like I have because I've been reckless or whatnot. But I think about those habits that he had as a kid, and he's one of the healthier people that I know as an adult. But it starts at a young age.
but so the point that I was trying to make is that the thing, because as it pertains to relationships, not everyone has done that. Like not everyone has started off really young with their health, but you're seeing now that people aren't finding success on their own. They're finding success more when they pair up with someone, when they have a partner,
Yes, yes,
which is why it is important. Like if a couple works out together, they're more likely to have success, or if they do something together. So I want both of us to succeed individually, but the best way for both of us to succeed individually is if we try to do this together.
that makes sense.
So that's kind of why, I push it, why I say certain things, because the best way for us to have individual success is if we can have success as a unit.
You smart.
You know?
So let's build this SMART goal. First of all, what is a SMART goal?
So I am a business teacher, and one of the things that I literally go through at some point with my students is that a goal without any type of way of reaching that goal is just a pipe dream. You have to have some measurable things to be able to do it. I remember when I was in school, I don't know, maybe it was undergrad, where they kept talking to us about SMART goals, and I hated writing SMART goals.
Same.
Hated it, hated it, hated it. But now I see the importance of it because we need to be held accountable. We as Americans often lack accountability. And that's exactly what a SMART goal is. A SMART goal forces us to hold ourselves accountable to this particular thing. And the reason why I wanted us to do a SMART goal here is so that the viewers can hold us accountable
Okay.
for what we're doing. Because we said something a couple of weeks ago about working out, and then, we had Tarika hit us up individually to be able to make sure that we're doing that. But this is taking it a step further. And I want to just let you know that even though I said, let's do this SMART goal, I do not have one preformed.
Me neither.
Like we're about to do this.
We're literally doing
we're
this.
about to do this on the spot. So a SMART goal, SMART is an acronym where I'd always heard it to be SMART. SMART S being specific, so you are specifically detailing something that you're going to do. M that it's measurable. There's some way that you can measure your success. Pro tip, just gonna kind of tangent. When you are able to measure something and to give qualitative or quantitative data for it, that is how you can have more success professionally and personally when you are able to give statistics or some kind of stats, some kind of data for something that you've done. So we have specific, we have measurable, we have attainable. So something that is realistic, something that you can achieve, something that's not like completely out the out the crack of your behind, like just with no rationale behind it, are being relevant. So, is it something that pertains to something that you're doing right now, something that's within the realm of possibility? And then, T, that most important part of the SMART goal is it's time bound. So, you are attaching some sort of time to it. If I say, as a 6 year old, I want to be a millionaire, that really is a pipe dream because I'm not saying, I'm specifically saying what I want to be, yes, but I don't have a measurable thing in there. I'm not saying how I'm going to do that, and I'm not associating a time with it. Over the course of my life, I probably earned and spent $1 million, but that doesn't mean that I'm a millionaire. So we have to be specific. We have to be measurable. We have to be attainable. We have to be relevant, and we have to be time bound in this goal that we create as it relates to our health.
Okay. So for our SMART goal,
Mm-hmm.
are we doing you're going to give yours and I'm going to give mine, and or is it going to be a together thing? Okay, so it's going to be separate. All right. Well, let's just get into it. What's 24 times 7?
A very big number.
Can you get the specific amount on one of your phones,
8
please?
carry the 2, 14, 168.
So there are 168 hours in a week. Around 40 of those for both you and I, and this is an average number, is work. It's an average number. It's going to be higher, it's going to be lower sometimes. It depends. There's other obligations that we have as far as we have our committed live stream. There's sleep that has to occur. There's church and additional duty stuff that goes on as well.
Other duties as assigned.
In all of that, there are no excuses. To where I say, out of 7 days, I can specifically carve out 6 hours for exercise. Is that enough? 6 hours total over a week. So it doesn't matter how that 6 hours is chopped up, but 6 hours that's just dedicated to exercise. And the reason why I'm chunking it like that is, for me, my SMART goal, it's not going to be, I want to get down to a certain weight by the end of that. That's not what I'm going to start with. I want to say by the time this posts, I'll have just under 5 months, and I want my goal to be through December of this year. So December 31st, 31 days in December, right? Yes, December 31st, 2024. I want to do this specific thing. So for me, when people talk about losing weight or getting healthier and things like that, there's several factors that goes into this. Something that I can raise my hand and say that I'm not that well, I don't do as much as I should. I have a sedentary job, and I'm not as active as I used to be. I was doing this thing where I was saying that I was going to get out and make sure that I touched some grass. Secondary, that was just me being more active. So my SMART goal, I said all of that to now get here. I want to dedicate 6 hours a week specifically for exercise.
Okay. And personally, sorry. So the specificity of your goal is that you want to work out, right? The measurable part is that you are going to have 6 hours per week that you work out.
That's set aside for it, that I am also documenting, meaning it's marked on my Apple Watch for the data and for accountability.
Okay. For how long do you want to do this?
I want to take this through December of this year.
Okay. So from now, so this is airing August 12th. So from August 12th until December 31st, every week you are going to work out for 6 hours per week
Yep.
minimum.
Yep. I am going to set aside and dedicate 6 hours specifically for workout activities to burn calories.
Okay. So that's King's goal, y'all. So that's what y'all are holding him to. King is saying that from August 12th until December 31st, he is going to work out a minimum of 6 hours every week. And it can be divided however he wants to. So if he wants to do 3 hours in one day and 3 hours in another day, that's fine as long as he gets 6 hours per week. And for point of reference, we run Sunday to Saturday. So King and I look at our week as the week starts on Sunday and it ends on Saturday. Okay? My goal, I am going to be very realistic and I always lowball that way. If I do better, wonderful, but at least I'm hitting my goal. So I am going to say I'm going to do doctor orders. I am going to say I will have at least 150 minutes of workout exercise per week, which boils down to 5 days of 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So 150 minutes per week of some type of exercise that I will do. So whether that is I'm not I can include walking, but that's my specificity and that I will say I want to also carry me through the end of the year. So from August 12th until December 31st.
Now, I can tell you right now, hearing yours and hearing mine, I already know that there's going to be some immediate changes, right? Because for me,
Like what?
right? So, for example, I know that with what I listed, that I am going to see my
Oh, you
my
mean physical changes?
physical change.
Okay,
Yes, yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yep. And just because I don't want to include that in the measurements because my next goal from there is I do want to work on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, you hear in all of the classes from the experts or whatnot that the one of the signs of your health things that can occur that make your health go worse is like the abdominal fat,
Yep.
right? So I want to then take the steps to do that. Now, in between all of this, you and I have already talked about changes in diet and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Stuff that we're going to be mindful of. I've already talked to a nutritionist. I said this earlier in this live stream. One of the things that the nutritionist said in the initial appointment is we're not going to give you a specific thing. This is going to be your diet plan. Meal one should be 1 cup of this, 2 scoops of that, yada, yada. No, the first orientation that I had, and I love this, it was just tell me about your day. When do you start? What do you typically eat? And what the nutritionist was doing was just finding out my habits. Mm-hmm. And then saying, okay, and what's your current lifestyle now? I work a remote job at a desk, so it is extremely sedentary. So the nutritionist said in the initial appointment that I'm going to follow up with is, okay, for you, we're not going to focus on exercise right now. Focus on just reducing your caloric intake by eating this instead of that, right? If you're still wanting to have this for breakfast or yada yada, try just drinking this. I'm not a soda drinker like that, but the nutritionist did say if you were a soda drinker, drink a diet soda instead of a regular soda. And just making those little changes that you're putting less calories in already. So whether or not you increase your calories out through working out and exercising and things like that, you're helping your body not get as unhealthy by consuming less calories if you were to just change your diet alone. You spoke about how you had a diet change, and your diet change is what caused your body to go, this is different. Let's do something about it.
Twice, not once, but twice. Twice changing what I ate caused me to lose weight. And that is how I know that for me, If I just change what I put in my body will look different. Like I have learned that drastically. I have been on and off of Weight Watchers for probably about like 12 years or so, maybe less than that. And even my insurance covers Noom, which is something that also allows you to like track your weight. Now, I know your nutritionist said not to get like on the whole tracking thing, which I have a comment about, but for me, I've used those two. And I know that when I intentionally use at least Weight Watchers, when I intentionally use Weight Watchers, that means like tracking every meal and everything like that. I have lost weight. I have lost weight, but it's when I get lazy in tracking it. And the thing is, Weight Watchers and Noom, those are just tools. But the reality is, no tool is going to be effective if you don't use it properly.
Ooh, that's a bar. Say that again.
No tool is going to be effective if you don't use it properly.
Okay.
Bam.
Okay.
So those are great tools, but I have to use them in order for them to be effective in my life. And if I know that I lose weight by changing what I eat, then I have to change what I eat. So your nutritionist said to reduce your caloric intake. So my question for you is, how do you know you're reducing your caloric intake? Like, this is a legitimate question. How do you, King, know that you have reduced your caloric intake in a day? Because to be fair, you ask any medical professional, any trainer, anything like that, the only way you lose weight is when calories in is less than calories out.
I mean, absent of tracking it, I would say, well, because I used to drink coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink coffee as much. But I can tell you, hey, if during the last week I had coffee with cream and sugar, and this week I haven't had coffee with cream and sugar, like I can tell you that. But absent of tracking it, it's more just being mindful of, ooh, I gotta have this, but I can't put the butter and mushrooms and the sauteed onions on it like I would have done. So it's making those kind of decisions because, yes, I do want to get to where I'm tracking it. And that's something that I wasn't going to talk about in this episode for me, but I do want to do that because when I see the data, that's the thing that's what makes me go, huh. For example, when I first bought the scale that I got that doesn't want to seem to work now, when I stepped on it, it registered what it was and it automatically synced it.
Yeah.
When I was starting to go, all right, you and I talked about showing each other's scale once a week to each other, it did not automatically sync the last time, so I went to go manually put it in, and it was like, yoink! And seeing that go yoink was like, huh.
So you asked me earlier why I asked you for your weight again when we had agreed to only track it once a week.
Yeah. Oh,
So
because of what you did for me this week.
Well, yeah. So
Okay.
one, I want to see how that makes a difference. But two, that can also allow you to see, like, one, while weight does fluctuate throughout the course of a day, but that can allow you to see, okay, maybe I did something yesterday that I shouldn't have done. Or maybe I did something yesterday and I can step it up a notch.
Yeah, I don't think that way.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I'm saying it. Like, because for as much as I can, I try to get on the scale every day. Around the same time, first thing in the morning, no clothes on, haven't had any water, anything like that, because that's the best time to weigh yourself. So I know, okay, if the scale is not being kind to me today, what did I do yesterday? And then I can go back and figure it out, or I can understand what adjustments I need to make today. So yesterday, I didn't do that well. Maybe today I'm doing more walking. Maybe today I am lifting more weights or something like that. Something to offset so that at the end of the week, the number has gone down on the scale.
It's so funny how different our mindsets are.
I know, like that's why I'm saying it now.
While you say day and then you think about the next day and then work on that, I'm like, let me do it once a week. So then I go, what did I do in the past week that I need to adjust? It's not a daily thing for me. Not saying that my way or your way is better or worse than the other one, but I'm just speaking to the different mindsets that people have in a relationship and how they would go about tracking or doing something. Because I didn't give you pushback when you asked for it. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But I was like, I didn't know why. And I didn't have time to ask why because I was doing something else.
And see, that's the teacher mindset in me coming out. So as a teacher, we're taught, teach content, and then you have formative assessments to be able to see how the students responded and to see what they got. So if I teach you something today on Monday and then I turn around on Tuesday and or even Monday afternoon and I give you like an exit ticket on Monday or warm up on Tuesday and you can't, regurgitate what I just gave you, then that means I need to adjust my lesson. That means I don't need to move forward with anything else because something that I taught before wasn't captured. So I use that same mentality when it comes to weight loss, or maybe the weight loss I've used it for teaching, whatever. But I use the same mentality because if I'm stepping on the scale, if I got on the scale today and it says one number and I live my life today and then tomorrow I get on the scale and it has a higher number, I did something wrong yesterday and I need to make that adjustment now. That way I'm not continuing that same behavior that I thought was okay on Monday throughout the course of the week and it turns out it really wasn't good. And then when I come back in for weigh in next week, my number is significantly higher. And now I'm trying to pinpoint, okay, which day did I do something bad? Was it this meal that I had on Monday that I can't remember because I'm not tracking my meals? Or, like what was it? Instead of doing that, I'm doing a day by day assessment of what I can do better. Because at the end of the day, when you're making a healthy choice for your life, whether it's the food that you put in your body or the relationship that you're in, it's a day by day thing every single day. And that's how we bring it back to dating, right? It's a day by day choice. Every single day, I send you a text message with the same 3 words. What are those 3 words?
I choose you.
Because it's a daily choice. Every day, I make the decision. I'm blessed to make the decision to choose you. And likewise, every single day when we're working on a healthy regimen for our lives and we're working on being healthier, we have to make that decision every single day that this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to commit to it. These are the steps that we're going to take in order to do it. It's a daily thing. It can't just be a once a week thing. It has to be a daily choice that we make.
All right. Well, I got one thing to add and then we'll close out the show.
What's that, babe?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Whether you choose to do it or not is on you. To the people that are out there that want to help keep us accountable and tap in, I told y'all that my goal was going to be 6 hours over the course of a week dedicated for exercising. I'm not going to post it on all of the platforms, but I am going to post the evidence on one specific platform, and it's going to be YouTube. So if you want to see where I've tracked those hours, follow us on YouTube because that is where I'm going to be posting my updates.
That's where we'll post our content.
So you'll also post those
it
too?
on our King and Me, King and Me YouTube page where you can see what we're doing and see how we're living up to it.
Yes, because we don't know where you're watching this at because we post on multiple platforms, but we use tools to do that efficiently, like you talked about them tools earlier. But there's no way that we can do this and have this. I haven't learned it yet. Be able to have that forced and automated out to post on all the platforms. So for now, this is going to be an exclusive YouTube thing. So follow our YouTube page. You'll see in the community tab is what it's called. If it's photos, the evidence of the data to be posted. And keep us accountable. We have one person out there, Tarika, you're awesome. Tarika has sent me a DM and was like, did you work out today? And I was just like, no, but I am. So keep doing that. If you have something that you're working on, Put it down in the comment section. As a matter of fact, if you tell us on the King and Me's channel that you're doing a health journey as a couple, let us know so we can subscribe to your channel
so that
and
we can
watch.
do it with you.
And we can do it with you. And then, hey, maybe who knows? They get to a 6-month point and have some changes. We get to a 6-month point, have some changes. They might be up the road from each other, and we all can link up and,
I'm going to say this. So it's related. Before we got what's on our calendar for October 5th, you and I had a day to get tattoos. I want a tattoo, like really, really badly. However, I need to lose weight. It's a reward. It's a reward for me. I am not getting my tattoo until I lose 20 pounds. It is
20 pounds from today's weight or a certain weight?
25 pounds from today's weight. So the weight that I sent you this morning,
okay,
25 pounds down, and I would like a tattoo. It is a reward for me. As much as I want another tattoo, it needs to be on a reward system for me.
Okay. All right.
Wait, are you saying the same thing too?
No.
Oh, you're just saying it for me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 25 pounds from today's weight, what you saw, and let's go get me inked.
Okay.
All right.
All right, bet. I like that.
I like that.
All right. Hey, this episode was a little bit longer than usual, right?
What?
But it is what it is. We had a lot of information in there. We were vulnerable about what's going on with us and everything. And we did ask to be held accountable. So for those of y'all out there that care enough to want to help us remain accountable and get to our goal, reach out. Ask the questions. Say, hey, what's going on? We actually do see that stuff.
Yeah, we do.
And we do think about it. We do take that feedback and adjust fire as necessary.
I let King comment because I'm Jamaican and Baltimorean, and I shouldn't comment to everything that people write.
Let's see. Is there anything that we need to close out with that we may have missed before we finally end this thing?
Nope. I want to lose my 25 pounds so I can get a tattoo.
And I just want to see you do jumping jacks. My bad. I'm sorry. That was horrible.
You're not sorry.
Because I do want to see it. All right, y'all. This has been another episode of The King and Me. I'm King.
I'm Michelle.
And we'll see y'all next week.
Come here.
Peace.
Mwah.
Ooh, that was juicy. Bye, y'all.
Bye.